Hey everybody. Well, wow, my internet connection is not very strong. And I am going to try and get everything set up. Hey everybody, wherever you are, we are really excited. I'm excited to invite my friend to join us. We're planning to do. Um, okay. Here we go.
Yay!
You did. You have great.
I think it's frozen.
Everything is going pretty choppy.
Oh, okay, there you are.
How is it on your end?
It's it, oh, you're frozen now.
Is it,
Oh,
okay, we'll see.
you're kind of moving now.
Holding.
Yeah, now I can yeah, now you're moving and grooving.
Well, everybody that's watching, this will be our technical test. Wherever you are, I'm sure you're having calls like this, phone calls where you're seeing friends, you're doing meetings, and it's the same kind of thing where you're trying to make things work in a strange time. We hope you're being safe. Everyone's enjoying their home time during this COVID-19 event. It's unbelievable. Think about how we're all experiencing such a similar thing right now.
Yeah.
It is kind of both devastating for so many people, and at the same time, it has been something that's been in my lifetime. I don't remember having where everyone is pretty much thinking about the same subject from coast to coast. I mean, it is. So the question will be kind of what comes out of this. You know, what are so what's it been like in your camp there?
Um, I totally feel you on the fact that everyone's thinking about the same things. I don't know if I've ever experienced. I don't think any of us have experienced something like this. I talked to some of people in older generations, and they said like the closest thing they can think of, which is not even the same thing, was September 11th, where it felt like everyone in our country was like on the same page. But this is global. Um, I have a lot of conversations with friends and family about what do we want to go to next, like the idea of back to normal. I don't think that, I mean, a lot of people have different philosophies. I've talked to a couple of people who are like, it's just going to go back to the same thing. I personally am an optimist, and I just feel like this is a good time for us to slow down and maybe figure out what kind of world we want. And just thinking about we're going to talk more about your program, Food on the Move, but what if we all take to heart the lessons that we're learning now about how people are marginalized? Those who are marginalized right now are very deeply impacted by this quarantine and the shutdowns and the virus. And so we're all kind of thinking about, wow, my actions as an individual impact the whole. I hope we take that lesson and we hold that, because it's always been true. Our actions have always rippled out, but now we kind of see it in this perfect manifestation. And then your program Food on the Move is a program that's about helping others who may be in a different spot, and collaborating with those communities. And I hope we do more of that, and that just becomes a norm, and
Right. Yeah, well, and it's kind of everything you're saying. I agree with, and um, so people are aware. We're sharing music, and we are talking about what good things we can do in our community from home, because we're all sort of struggling with being smart, being safe, being, a good neighbor, but also trying to be positive. And if anybody's watching, you can go to foodonthemoveok.com, and we're helping mobilize to bring food and produce to people in a safe way throughout this crisis, because there's so many people already, especially in neighborhoods that are struggling any time of the year, and in a non-crisis period. When something like this happens, it's another level. So we've converted our program that's been focused on helping people in food deserts that don't have grocery stores, trying to transformational change. We've totally pivoted to pausing what we do typically, which is like block parties and positive, environments where everybody's together, and saying, wow, how can we not do that, but how can we get to the people we serve? So anybody guys can please check that out. You can donate. We have to raise about $30,000 a week to feed
Oh, wow.
we're doing, and we're feeding 10,000 people a week.
Wow.
We need help. We need to continue to help. We have amazing partners. But pivoting back to that, it's sort of a life question. You're really measured by what you do in crisis, what you do in struggle, not by necessarily what you do when everything's hunky dory. And so I'm not much of a betting person, because betting is sort of like, these are the likely odds. But I would say my take is the aspiration would be that in a time where things are being questioned and challenged, that people are motivated, to do positive things. They're motivated to see that the things they can do, even in time of resources, they're empowered with the reality of, wow, like, it is hard to believe. It reminds you just how connected we all are to each other.
Yeah, that's a great point. What are you like? You said you had to pivot and do things differently with Food on the Move. Like, what are some examples of like how you are adjusting for the COVID-19?
Well, so Food on the Move basically does pop-up events within areas that don't have grocery stores, and we've done it consistently, really with the idea. The vision was to connect with people and work on a long-term transformational plan. Not to say this is how we're going to drop a grocery store, but to really connect with communities and see what it's going to take to see real positive things come from the ground up, entrepreneurship and education and understanding local food systems. And so that's been a long story, right? But when we realized, call off all of our regular events because they're based on gathering people together. And what we've done is we've essentially transitioned all of our partnerships to do direct delivery or a low drive-through. So if we have a neighborhood, we typically would show up and everybody would gather, and there'd be produce, and there would be pay as you can usually, so people just show up and give whatever they can, and it's free for most people, but people contribute. In this case, we just said, we're going to be in this neighborhood. You stay where you are. We're coming to you, and we developed a system where we have volunteers and all their safety equipment, and we've added prepared meals plus produce, and we call it drive-through or drop-off. So drive-through is you prepare these meals, people drive through, very low interaction, and the food just goes right into the car. And for people that have transportation limitation, we are going right to them and literally going to the doorstep, and the bag of food goes. It's groceries for a week plus a 5-person meal. And the extra cool thing is we work with all these small businesses always. Like, we work with food trucks, stores, and we've developed a small stipend so that those stores, restaurants can get a little something and have a small amount of margin so they can actually work and at the same time be helping. So we have small restaurants and food trucks involved in this at the same time. So anyway, so it's essentially taking all the resources and turning them from a gathering of people into bringing the food to where people are.
So. Right. Yeah. Wow. That's really, really impressive. I'm excited to tell my Los Angeles community about it. I do feel like a lot of people are trying to figure out, what can I do? And then I feel like sometimes we put pressure on ourselves to do more than maybe, we're just like, oh, I need to do more. I need to do more. Like last night I couldn't sleep. I stayed up until 3 a.m. I was like, what can I do? And then I thought about it. Sometimes when the world seems too big, I zoom back in. I'm like, okay, just call my dad, call my mom, you know. And then when I feel like I'm too focused on my life, then I zoom back out.
Right.
Kind of
Right.
doing balance. Yeah.
Well, why don't we do this? I mean, obviously, we're talking, and this is the part of the idea is just to chat and to inspire whoever's watching. Think about positive things that you can do when you feel like you can't do a lot. But we're also hearing music. I apparently have to find the best possible spot to sit. So, how do you feel about playing a song?
I feel great.
Why don't I'm going to get positioned. Why don't you just tell everybody about your tune? And again, guys, this is Milck. She's a badass, and thank you so much for doing this. It's all yours.
For having me. Yeah. This song is called Ready. I think during this pandemic, as we're all spending more time with ourselves, for me personally, I feel like I'm starting to face some of my demons, some of my angels more, and I'm just having a deeper conversation, and I'm surrendering to the fact that like this might be for a little while longer, and why not try to have a better relationship with myself. So this song was a love song for someone else, but I think I'm with COVID-19. I think it's nice to think about the relationships that we're having with ourselves. So this is called Ready. I'm not waiting for you to come knock on my door. That's what I used to do when my heart wasn't sure. Cause I don't like feeling exposed or out of control. But I want you to know, I want you to know, when you're ready for the free fall, ready to get vulnerable to open up and it's morning. I'm ready when you want the Sunday mornings. Soul to soul, skin to skin. You're the only one makes me think I'm ready. Normally I'm aloof, like Antarctica cool. Now I'm making moves. Do you see what you've done? Cause tentative passion don't help anyone. Gonna say what I want at the top of my lungs. Cause I want you to know, when you're ready for the free fall, ready to get vulnerable to open up and let somebody. I'm ready when you want the Sunday mornings, soul to soul, skin to skin. You're the only one makes me think I'm ready. But I do, but I do. Are you ready for me? But I do, but I do. If you're ready, I'm ready. But I do, but I do. Are you ready for me? But I do, but I do. If you're ready, I'm ready. I won't be casual about you. No, no, whoa, whoa, oh, won't be casual about you. Oh, I want to. When you're ready for the free fall, ready to get vulnerable to open up somebody. I'm ready when you want the Sunday mornings, soul to soul, skin to skin. You're the only one makes me think I'm ready. If you're ready, I'm ready. Thank you.
Love it.
Thanks.
You know, that's such a beautiful song. I'm gonna do a little Milck interview. you are such an phenomenal singer.
Oh, thanks.
Did you was there a singer that you heard early on and went boom, like, or is it just a melting pot of influences? I mean, it's sort of a trick question because everybody has multiple influences.
Yeah.
I know I heard Jackson and I was just like that, you know.
I actually, it's really interesting. Like when I heard like Bill Withers sing, and then when I heard Joni Mitchell, Natalie Merchant too,
Yeah,
and
incredible.
yeah, and then I started like listening to Tori Amos and then Fiona Apple. Those are, yeah, that era of musicians, and then with Bill Withers being that earlier soul era. Those artists really impacted me. And then I think just singing, I grew up singing classical, and then I really loved like American pop music, soul music. Yeah, just kind of like all fused together. How about you?
Well, I mean, yeah, it was early soul music and rock and roll. I mean, it was originally it was true rock and roll. It was like Chuck Berry and
Yeah.
stuff from the mid 50s, and then doo wop but then soul music. I mean, like I could just listen. Ray Charles as a singer. I mean, his voice, it wraps around you. But yeah, it's a combination of different influences. Nobody pulls from one. I was signaling that one particular one, but
Yeah.
I saw Michael Jackson. I remember having that like heart stop.
Mm.
Wow, what is that? Obviously, the world, all over the world, people felt that way. But for me, it was, um, it just struck such a complete, perfect chord. And um,
I
I
can
mean,
hear that in like there's elements. I can definitely hear that.
you're always trying to get to something that you hear in your head. But talk about, just not to go too sad, because it's actually beautiful. So sad. Our uh, Bill Withers, thinking about how we first met. Um, so devastating to see him leave us, and obviously was not directly related to COVID, in this period, but it feels that way because we're all thinking about losing people. And I lost my friend Adam Schlesinger this last.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, thank you. It's I don't. I feel like there's so much mourning to do on something like that, because you you're still it's so unexpected. It's You don't have time to even kind of think to yourself, like to reflect on what it means and a person means to you. But we'll be sharing more about that. And thinking about Bill Withers, we met singing together in Richmond.
Yeah.
Um, and singing, one of the things we got to do was had the
Honor. Yeah.
blessing and honor of singing his daughter, Corey. And man, just the power of simplicity and the power of simple melodies and just the words. Like, I think a lot of times about when someone you say that was soulful, people mistake soul for like, like doing a bunch of trills. But that what he did and what you
Mm.
do, is you sing from here, and you
Mm.
can hear it. And that's, soul music. I mean, it's like soul music, of course, so much of that came out of church, but it's singing from the soul, singing from somewhere deeper, right?
Yeah.
It's not about exactly what you're singing, it's about how you're singing it. And I think that's what I hear when you sing.
Oh, thanks. I feel that way with you too. Yeah, it feels like it's like this aching, like when I listen to Bill Withers, you do this as well. Is like this, it's like an innate desire to connect. And
Right.
when I was younger, I had like problems speaking out. Like I was really shy, so music was my way of connecting. So there's a lot of that like desire to connect through singing in that sense. So
Right. Yeah, and it is our best tool to bring us back to That's why we usually have teams and people helping us do things like this. Doing this and not, destroying the experience. I moved, as everyone experienced the shaky camera, I moved to another spot where maybe this will work. I'm going to play a song called These Walls, and if you'll hang, then we'll chat a little bit more. And guys, this is hopefully the first of several of these streams, so this will be our chance to shake off the newness. These walls are too hard to climb, and that ladder is too hard to find. I don't want to be here anymore. These roads are too hard to walk. Things you've been said, I don't even want to talk. And I don't want to wind up on the floor. 'Cause I don't want to be anymore. There are mountains of disbelief. These walls are killing me. And I don't want to be here anymore. Speak your mind and speak your peace. I swear I'm sick and deep. I don't want to wind up on the floor. I don't want to be anymore. The sky is falling all over again. Just another day's conclusion, another disillusion. The sky is falling all over again, and I'm losing my composure. Way too much exposure to compromise. 'Cause I can't take all these wars. You've been yelling up to the red. Bet you have what I've said. I don't want to be here anymore. It's giving all I got can be bittersweet. You think everyone's beneath your feet. I don't want to wind up on the floor. I don't want to be here anymore. That's right. The sky is falling all over again. Just another day's conclusion, another disillusion. One night, the sky is falling all over again, and I'm losing my composure. Way too much exposure to compromise. I can't take all these walls. These walls are too hard to climb. These walls. No, I can't take all these walls. These walls are too hard to climb. These walls. No, these walls too hard to climb. All
I love that song. It's so appropriate for this time.
Yeah, I was trying to think of songs that I could both actually do and feel like they're here. It also goes on the theme. I mean, this is just where I come from. I oftentimes want to find a way through, even if it's a subject matter that's rough,
Me too.
Right, and just kind of it's your own way of figuring out how to answer that thing you think's impossible. And so anybody that's watching, I hope you're being safe, doing well. I was talking about kind of using what we have. We were talking about food on the move. if you have, do you have anything happening in your backyard that you want to point people towards, something they could support or positive thing that you know people are trying to do something good amidst a pretty crazy time? Feel free to give a shout out, because I know there's the dark and the light all happening at the same time right now.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, it was really fun also, Taylor, to look at the comments. Like some people are saying that this song has been in my head all quarantine. Kaylee Pause said that. It's just fun to see. Like, some people have been like someone was listening to the song already all day today, so it's
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
cool.
Hey,
Someone
yeah.
mentioned, oh yeah, Pins Limbs mentioned Feeding America. That's a really good cause.
Yeah, so yeah, Feeding America is a national program. If you guys are interested, if you are interested in hunger issues, Feeding America has relationships with food banks in most cities across the country, and we work really closely with our food bank here, with Food on the Move here in Tulsa, and they're lined up with the Feeding America program. So definitely, if that's had somebody's heart, I mean, obviously basic things, right? Food and safety are these things that when we have plenty, especially, we're just, oh yeah, you don't think about it, but so many people every day are facing that reality of not being able to feed their families or themselves. And honestly, that as a dad of six, I
Ooh,
hard to imagine like the pain of looking at your kids and not being able to get food. I mean,
yeah.
it's hard to fathom that, and that actually like always brings me back to center.
Mm,
So I mean, just everybody understands, caring for family, caring for even if you only have a parent or one sibling or many children or whatever, there's certain people that you can't fathom not being able to help, especially those closest to you. You just can't put yourself in that situation. It's hard to fathom what it would be like to truly be helpless to serve somebody that you care about. And food, I mean, is just so basic. This time right now with people losing, especially losing jobs, man, it's hitting so many people. So Feeding America, look at your local community food bank, and if you do want to support Food on the Move here in Tulsa, we're doing what we can. But I think mostly do what you can where you are. Feed and support and be a part of making your town, helping your town, your neighborhood thrive, because I mean, they're going to need you tomorrow and a month from now and a year from
yeah,
now,
yeah.
but especially right now.
And if people feel like financially strapped, where, you know,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
there's like so many ways to help, of sharing the links um, and just even calling and checking in on friends, especially like friends who maybe you haven't heard from in a while and you usually do, like just checking in, even like a little text here and there. I've been trying to do that in different moments as well. Um, yeah, and my friend, this is like a kind of a, and I was telling you about this on the phone call that we had earlier today about my friend, Amanda Nguyen, who started this organization called Rise. She helps advocate for sexual assault survivors, and she texted me saying that the reports of rapes have increased during quarantine, and a
Right.
lot of that has something to do with domestic violence and being stuck with an abuser. And so she is working with the government and with like influencers and just to get the word out and educate people on how to identify if someone is going through something like that, and how you can be of support. And it's a little tricky because we're all quarantined from each other, but she's coming up with literature and like working on some campaigns and stuff. And so her organization is called Rise, and her name is Amanda Nguyen. So her last name is spelled Nguyen. And so I'm going to be actually chatting with her next Monday just to ask her questions, like how we can help.
So
Yeah, yeah,
rise.org.
I think it's rise.us. And then if you look up Amanda Nguyen, Nguyen, Rise, it'll pop up.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
that is that's devastating, and also it's a great thing that she's pulling together support to help.
Yeah.
what a what a hard cause to achieve impact when something's so intimate and so close.
Yeah, I think they're doing a thing where it's like, because some of they're trying to get more posters of like numbers for like sexual assault hotlines or how you can call for help, and they're trying to give it to takeout like restaurants, because that's like one of the only few places that people will go and pick up food. And so if someone's picking up food, they can see a sign in the restaurant, maybe they can save that number. Grocery stores, so they're just trying to put the resources out there for people.
Well, guys, yeah, check it out. I'll be checking it out, and such an awesome cause, and kudos to her for organizing to do that. And again, amidst a really difficult time to do much of anything, right? But you're right that this is not. I mean, this talking about doing things is not about hey guys, give money to this or give money to that, but just be encouraged, and also if something's inspiring or motivating, share about it. And thanks for tuning in. I was seeing people from all over watching, from Ohio to Vietnam.
So cool.
So cool. I am at risk probably of having this phone die or signal just.
I'm glad that's what you have a risk of. I was like, what are you gonna say right?
I was about to say though that this phone is gonna. It went straight from that to like something very, very trivial. So we won't hang on too much longer, but I am going to be doing. We've been talking for a week or so about getting on. I've been lining up several different friends and guests. I'll be sharing more about other guests coming on, and it's so awesome having you join me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Love hearing your songs, seeing your face, and celebrating at a crazy time.
Yeah. I wanted to share one thing, if you don't mind. Tomorrow night, I'm playing this thing called Uncanceled, and it's to help keep a live venue, Hotel Cafe, open. Hotel Cafe is like this awesome venue in LA. And so I'm playing tomorrow night at 7 Pacific Standard Time, and the proceeds will be split with the venue, and I think me, and I think it's just try to keep the music industry alive during this time. But if you're interested, tomorrow night.
So people can tune in. Where are they streaming it?
I think they're doing Stage It. So it's all on my Instagram page if you all are interested.
Amazing.
But regardless, thanks for having me.
Of course. And you helped me kick this thing off. Now, hopefully, I'll find a way to get signal to work better.
Yeah.
The hotel is amazing. It's such an amazing venue. It's the heart of. I mean, so many great musicians have found an audience and developed something out of Hotel Cafe. It's incredible. Marco's a real music curator. He's going to be in the foundation of like so many different artists' stories from bringing people to stage. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, there you are. There you are. You came back. Oh, I think it's muted. I can't hear you. Maybe we should say bye for now, unless the sound comes back. I think something happened. I can speak for us. I'll say bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Taylor. You're the best. See y'all soon.